Back on ESPN, and it has been a terrific tenure for John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan, who came in together in San Francisco in 2017 and essentially immediately have made the 49ers one of the powerhouse teams in the NFC. 62 wins over the last 5 seasons, third most in the league. They've been in the NFC Championship game 4 times in 5 years. That 5th year, they were decimated by injury. 2 tough Super Bowl losses, including that overtime loss this past year. And as you can see, they've added quite a few players and lost quite a few more. A time of change for San Francisco, so close to a championship. Now, what do they need to put them over the top?
The right tackle spot, offensive line. You think about wide receiver addition, and then maybe a cornerback at some point, Boog.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I think you never put it past John Lynch when upgrading from an edge rusher standpoint, a defensive standpoint, but the offensive line knowing how they want to run the football. And also think about this. There are reports that Debo and Ayuk, Debo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk could potentially be traded. Maybe they look at a wide receiver here.
We're expecting a lot more wide receivers to come off the board than we've seen so far. A.D. Mitchell is still on the board. Xavier Legette is still on the board. So quite a few names that, Mel, you've been talking about for weeks now. We thought we would get 7 wide receivers selected tonight. Does not appear as though we will get there. We shall see. The Niners will pick here, then the Bills will finish up round 1. Here's the commissioner.
With the 31st pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers select Ricky Pearsall, wide receiver, Florida.
There's a little bit of a surprise. The young man from Phoenix spent 3 seasons at Arizona State before transferring, had 65 catches for the Gators last year, 4 touchdowns, 2 more rushing, Mel.
Arizona State with Herm Edwards, and then he goes to Florida, and he ends up running a 4.41 at the combine, 6'1", 189-pounder. Also had 42 vertical. He has that build-up speed, attention to detail when it comes to releases off the line, route running, route breaks. He's fast, he's tough, outstanding hands. He made some circus highlight reel catches during his career, both at Arizona State and certainly at Florida this past season. He can also be an asset on special teams due to his punt return skills. He said, hey, offensive line, wide receiver, secondary, they need to address. Mentioned the possibilities of some trades there. Ricky Pearsall, Xavier Legette, Adonai Mitchell, Ladd McConkey. That next group of receivers very similar in grade.
Yeah, the thing that really stood out to me about this guy is that the move point at the top of the route, the break point, whatever vernacular you want to use. You see that catch right there? See, that was one-handed, kind of backhanded. Anyway, at the top of his routes, that's where he's at his best. He'll have you all kinds of confused with all the different body movement he uses. And he is fast now, 4.41, and can jump. 42-inch vertical.
Guys, let me get to Shefty for the point that Booger was making a few moments ago. The 49ers taking a wide receiver. Shefty, what should we make of that?
Greeny, they do not have a trade that is close right now, but there are questions about each of their top 3 wide receivers. Obviously, Brandon Ayuk remains unsigned at this particular point in time. Debo Samuel has got a big cap number next year at a time when they have to sign Brock Purdy to an extension, and their number 3 wide receiver, Jawan Jennings, is on a 1-year contract. So there are questions about all 3 of their top receivers, which helps explain why the 49ers tonight used their first pick, their 31st overall selection, on Florida wide receiver Ricky Pearsall.
And for a team that their most valuable weapon is the running back Christian McCaffrey, you can understand why Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch are saying, okay, if we do move a Debo Samuel, if we do move a Brandon Ayuk, we can plug and play with some of these young guys because this is such a deep receiver draft. You can kind of see the methodology that they're thinking out in San Francisco.
I'll tell you this, now that Buffalo is on the clock, look, okay, well, now that Carolina's on the clock, look, I'll tell you what, there were some nice wide receivers still here on the board. I don't disagree at all with them taking Ricky Pearsall because of the versatility that he's got. And the fact that this guy is a very good route runner, and he is someone, look, his hands, the way he can track the football down the field and make all kinds of different contested catches in all kinds of environments. I mean, that's the Shanahan offense, right? Move your receivers around, move them from slot to Z to X, run them out of route coming out of the backfield. I mean, he is a Swiss Army knife type of wide receiver in terms of his versatility. And that's what this draft really is known for, wide receiver, all the different types of guys you can get.
Rich, we're going to find out a little bit about the San Francisco 49ers plans for their star receiver, Brandon Ayuk, when they make the 31st overall selection. They go with a receiver here, and certainly there are plenty available. Maybe that signals they're going to move on from Ayuk and go to a new era in the receiver room. If they select another position, maybe they'll work tomorrow to try to get Ayuk done, try to get him the extension he believes he deserves, and kind of move on going forward there. So a lot at stake here, maybe a little signal for the 49ers when they pick.
Interesting, Ian. But if I can follow up to actually use the English language, wouldn't they want to trade him for a first-round pick, or if they could trade him tomorrow night, what would the considerations be in your mind, Ian, with Ayuk?
Well, just because the first-round picks are gone tonight and they're going to be in about 2 picks, yes, they can get first-round pick value. Like you look at some of the teams early, the New England Patriots, the Washington Commanders, 2 teams potentially still looking for a receiver. They both pick early tomorrow night, so they could package those picks with a couple later-round picks and make up the value of a 1 if that's enough for the San Francisco 49ers to do it.
Interesting. Thanks very much. And he mentions the Washington Commanders, whose 2nd overall pick tonight, former college teammate of Brandon Ayuk. We'll see what comes out of the San Francisco draft room anyway, right here. So what do you think?
Well, with San Francisco, I was looking at 2 things with them. It was defensive tackle, and it was wide receiver. And for a lot of the reasons that we're discussing here, the uncertainty at that position. But also defensive tackle. Eric Armstead's no longer there, so to be able to get somebody to help out with that, Johnny Newton's
Johnny Law's still there.
But I'm looking at this, and I'm looking at all the wide receivers. Adonai Mitchell, McConkey, Pearsall, Keon Coleman, Leggett, Corley. Like, if they want a receiver, there's still a lot of good options there for him.
Okay, so the commissioner's making his way to the stage for the penultimate time tonight. The Bills are already on the clock for 2.5 minutes here. Again, the Chiefs traded up moments ago to take Xavier Worthy, the latest wide receiver taken, fastest man in the history of the Combine. And the Bills will choose last, but before that, we hear the 49ers pick.
With the 31st pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers select Ricky Pearsall, wide receiver, Florida.
So they do take a receiver, and it's Ricky Pearsall.
Yeah, Ricky Pearsall is coming off a great year, and somebody who also went to the Senior Bowl and showed up down there. Charles and I saw him down there. Michael Gallup was my comparison. Route polish. And one of the things when you watch him, he's so crisp. When he gets to the top of his route, they appreciate that. This is the best catch anybody had all year long. You won't see a better catch than that one, to be able to haul that one in. Tracking the ball again, outstanding hands. They value that everywhere, but especially with Kyle Shanahan. Can you run through the catch point? Can you run clean routes? And are you reliable with your hands? He's a really good player, CD.
And he'll be one of those guys that shows up early, stays late, absolutely loves ball. Joel, you remember him at Arizona State?
I do. I was just going to say, he was all the way back with Jaden Daniels.
There's a certain quarterback who went number 2, threw the ball to Ricky Pearsall, and now you're taking a look at what Ian was talking about. What happens with Ayuk, we don't know, but Pearsall's there, Kittle's still there, Debo. It'd be interesting to see how they continue to fashion things, but Kyle Shanahan, one of the best play diagrammers that we know.
And you saw all of that tape. He can play in the slot. You can bring him around on those little, I call them like circus motions. You can be creative with Pearsall because 1, he's smart, 2, he's reliable, and 3, he's always going to create some level of separation. I think Kyle Shanahan's going to love that about Ricky Pearsall.
Guys,
with the 31st pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers select Ricky Pearsall, wide receiver, Florida.
Ricky Pearsall started his career at Arizona State catching passes from Jaden Daniels, who was the 2nd pick in the draft, and he's second to last pick in the 1st round. Father Rick, mother Aaron, both played for Northern Arizona. Great athletes there. Aaron played volleyball. Rick was a football player as a junior in high school in the Tempe area. Look at that. Single game, 342 yards. Now, started with Jaden Daniels, then transferred from Arizona State to Florida in 2022 and was outstanding for the Gators.
You lose a quarterback and Jaden Daniels, you lose Ricky Pearsall. It's hard to win out of Tempe. But this guy, Florida's still trying to rebuild and get things going, but this guy's been one area that's been a bright spot for Billy Napier. 6'1", 190, runs a 4.4, 42-inch vertical, and can play inside or outside. Made most of his catches in the inside. Just a kind of a technician with his route running, but do not sleep on this guy's athletic ability and his ability, as you can see with that route running, to set DBs up and win. This is a great pick for John Lynch and the 49ers.
I agree. He's a crafty slot runner, knows how to manipulate the defenders to get to a spot, get to an area. Excellent hands. I love his concentration. He made one grab in the game. He reached up there with one hand. It's one of those catches or one of those passes where they got the term alligator arms from, because guys would never reach up there. He reached up there fearlessly with one hand, stabbed the ball in the air. I think he's a hell of a competitor. Got it, honestly, his dad was a receiver in college too. Taught him a lot of the tricks of the trade. I think that's an excellent pick. I'm a big fan of Ricky.
Yeah, I think he's going to be excellent in the slot. I know he can play in or out, but I think his speed and quickness on a lot of the over routes and things that people run now, play action passes, he's going to be really good.
Imagine fitting in with, who knows what's going to happen with that group of receivers the 49ers have right now. There's been so much talk about maybe some guys getting out or if they stay, but they always have so many pieces. The timing of that offense, so tough to defend. He'll be a great fit.
Also got a little bit of an edge to it.
Does.
Before Max Brown made his first start for Florida, quarterback against Florida State, he texted him and referring to himself by his jersey number. So just remember, one is always open. Right. That's what 21 used to do all the time.
With the 31st pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers select Ricky Pearsall, wide receiver, Florida.
Hot dang! Ricky Pearsall, 42-inch vert. 4.3 40, 4.4 40. Extreme athlete. Great route polish. Tell us about him, Buck.
Love him. Love his game. This is a route runner extraordinaire. He has all the tricks of the trade when it comes to getting open over the middle of the field. Great hands, great ball skills. Really has mastered the craft and the art of getting open. This is a big-time playmaker, someone that can get it done, has the run-after-catch ability that the Niners love. Maybe, just maybe, this is a signal, a smoke signal.
Yeah.
All right, Lance, you're starting to feed into it.
Yeah, I think Brandon Ayuk is going to be on the way out, and I think Ricky Pearsall, I mean, that's the catch of the year. That catch that he made was absolutely, I didn't know I was going to run into it when I watched tape, and I probably spent about 34 minutes on it. It was unbelievable. Ricky Pearsall, from a separation standpoint, Ricky Pearsall is as good as anybody in this draft is separating, other than maybe, the pure speed of Xavier Worthy and Malik Neighbors. But Ricky Pearsall has very good hands. You can't guard him in the slot. And then he's got the ability, I think, to win physically against smaller nickels and then separate against bigger players as well. And then what really impressed me was what he did at the Combine. I think that's what pushed him into the first round for San Francisco, is he ran a 4.41, jumped over 40-inch vertical leap. I mean, this is an elite athletic profile for Ricky Pierce, and that's what pushed him into the first round. People say Combine doesn't matter. Combine matters.
Oh, yeah.
Combine matters, trust me.
And a little bit more of a compact kind of physical body than a player like Ladd McConkey, who we also kind of thought was in this group.
They were compared similarly, but if you like Ladd, well, do you like a bigger, faster Ladd?
Right.
Because Ricky is kind of bigger and faster.
Yeah, I mean, they're right there. I mean, Ladd ran 4.39, I think, ended up. But yeah,
did he run that fast?
Yeah,
he got down.
Yeah.
Wait a minute now.
Sleeping on him.
Welcome back to the 2024 NFL Draft, where we are in the second round, the final pick of the second round, number 64, where the 49ers have just moved back one slot. And coming into this round, there had been some speculation that the 49ers could potentially explore a trade for Brandon Ayuk or Deebo Samuel tonight. But they both say that they are likely to stay in San Francisco, that the 49ers are not looking to do anything, and right now they are on the clock about to make their selection. Let's hear what it is.
That's right, Shefty. Football makes a strange bedfellows. Kansas City and San Francisco met in the Super Bowl a few months ago. Now they just made this trade, swapping picks. KC went up one. They just made their pick, and here are the Niners.
Detroit, what up, though? We bossing up. It's good to be back home at the crib. I went to school down the street from here, 3200 East Lafayette Street, Detroit, Martin Luther King Crusaders. So it's an honor and a pleasure to be here. With the 64th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the NFC champion San Francisco 49ers select Renardo Green, DB, Florida State. Detroit, I love you.
He's from Orlando, started 32 games, Lewis, first at safety before switching to corner.
But this is really, I put down here, I thought he was the best press corner in the draft. He makes a living up at the line of scrimmage, and there's good reason why. He's physical, his technique is flawless, patient, the proper hand, and then settling into that low hip position, reading the routes, keeping his eyes down, finishing strong at the catch point. He liked to play that they like to put him into the boundary corner, and they would blitz him because he is tough as heck, and he will light up. Just look at that technique. He doesn't fall for it at all. The offhand stab right there as far as coming up with the PBU. Again, same thing. And then he's going to come up there and he's going to stone you. Just like that. This is a San Francisco 49er type of pick. And you see there, you see who he's going up against. That's no slouch right there. This was one of the best DBs in the country early on in the season for FSU. Got to see him play twice, and he just made plays all over the field.
A couple things he needs to work on, Lou. He gets grabby as the route progresses. You notice that, and also be quicker finding the football on downfield throws. He led the ACC with 13 pass breakups. The things that worked in college, you don't get work in the NFL. You're going to get some flags if he keeps being grabby. He's got to locate the ball, or he's going to get beaten down the field.
All that man coverage, that's what happens, man. Sometimes you have your back to the ball a lot. But I'll tell you, those PBUs, that's exactly what he's supposed to do. And I'll tell you this, Renardo Green was a stud. That's a real nice pick. Real nice pick for the 49ers.
With the 64th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the NFC champion San Francisco 49ers select Renardo Green, DB, Florida State. Detroit, I love you.
Yeah, Renardo Green, when you're watching him, the game that you're going to hang on to if you're a big fan of Renardo Green is the battle he had against Malik Neighbors. He was very competitive in that game. He's got really quick feet, and he's an outstanding blitzer. Here he is in that game against LSU, getting his head around, cutting him off down there in the red zone, poking that ball away. See some of the mirror and match skills underneath. Very feisty, very competitive. His size sometimes is someone who's 186 pounds. There are times he gets run over a little bit trying to get in there and make plays against the run. Will Shipley got him in that Clemson game, but there's a willingness there in terms of the toughness, and that's something you can build with there, Joel.
Led the ACC in passes defended with 14, and you touched on that film against LSU. They handled LSU that night, opening the season. That was a huge matchup, a lot of hype surrounding the LSU team, and rightly so because of what we saw the rest of the year. Florida State shut him down. A lot of that was Renaldo Green. He's got safety in his background as well, CD, but mostly outside corner last year.
Tutored by former NFL cornerback Jeremy Lincoln, does a great job with him. And one of the things that Daniel touched on is a big part of his game. He doesn't know he's 186 pounds. He thinks he's 220, and he wants to take on everyone. So he's got that toughness element to him. But I do believe San Francisco's going to want him to be on an outside corner and try and find a spot there opposite Travaris Ward.
With the 64th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the NFC champion San Francisco 49ers select Renardo Green, DB, Florida State. Detroit, I love you.
Renardo Green, the final pick of the second round. His only interception in college field came against Jaden Daniels.
But when that game was against a team in LSU that had 3 players taken in the top.
I think we're losing him there.
I think we have a little problem with Fields, Mike. Kirk, what do you got on Bernardo Green?
I did a bunch of Florida State games this year, including this opener in Orlando, where he was able to come up with that pick, and he played great. I think in his 5th year, he played. Rare to see guys play in their 5th year. He had a chance to really emerge and become a guy that was really able to solidify himself and improve his stock and become a leader for this defense, and he played outstanding. Field, I know you've had a chance to evaluate all these guys, but this guy played intelligently. Adam Fuller, their defensive coordinator, I think really fell in love with what he could do as the year went on. There he is against Malik Neighbors, matched up one-on-one.
Yeah, Herbie, hopefully the mic is working now, but to your point, this game against Malik Neighbors was a showcase game. I know it's week 1 of the college football season, but we're talking about an offense that featured the Heisman Trophy winner and 2 receivers taken to the top 23 in that game, in which Bernardo Green saw a whole bunch of Malik Neighbors lined up opposite of him. He showed a couple of things that really matter. A whole lot of confidence, some fearlessness, and some short area quickness. That was the only game against Florida State last season in which Malik Neighbors, during the regular season, did not have a 25-yard catch. A big part of that reason why, Bernardo Green. The Niners right now have 2 starting cornerbacks going into the final year of their respective contracts. This might be a pick that helps them now, but could help them even more in 2025.
That's great stuff. And
with the 64th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the NFC champion San Francisco 49ers select Bernardo Green, DB, Florida State. Detroit, I love you.
We were literally just talking about Bernardo Green as one of the best available corners.
I better recognize.
San Francisco 49ers lands their line and take him off the board.
He's in the 4th round. NFL people tell me he's in the 4th round. You better recognize. Bernardo Green can ball. All you have to do is turn on the LSU game where he was checking not just Malik Neighbors, but Brian Thomas. All you're going to see here is a hound dog. Like, you cannot get away from him. Yep. Underneath, he has rare change of direction quickness. He's built kind of low to the ground, and I couldn't believe how quickly he could snap off those comeback routes. You know, Bucky, as a DB, there's some guys who are just the center of gravity is just a little too high. They just can't stop and come back. But Bernardo Green is on every route underneath. It was just unbelievable to watch. There is some question about his long speed, and he's not the biggest cornerback, but I think he is a really talented cornerback. There's a difference of opinion around league circles, but for me, he's someone that I brought up early on in the process because I like guys that can make plays, and I like guys that can slow down Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr. You slow down Malik Neighbors, and you got my attention, and he did that early this year.
Yeah, Bernardo Green, there's some love. Like Lance, I gave Lance some credit. We started talking about him, buzzing. I think we talked about him a few times on Path to the Draft. Lance tipped me off to him. We started looking at the tape, and you're right. That LSU game, he's nose to nose, and you called him a hound dog. I call him a junkyard dog.
Yeah,
he is not afraid of the smoke. He is energetic, competitive, and that competitiveness is contagious. He is a nice fit in San Francisco.
The Philadelphia Eagles have traded the 86th pick to the San Francisco 49ers. And with the 86th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the NFC champion San Francisco 49ers select Dominique Pooney, guard from Kansas. Happy birthday, Tommy Harris.
Pooney, a transfer from Central Missouri, started all 25 games for the Jayhawks the past 2 seasons, did not allow a sack, splitting his time between guard and tackle.
I like this pick, Lou. I'll tell you, this is a kid I was high on all along. 6'5", 313, left guard in 2022 at Kansas, left tackle in 2023. Talk about what he did at the Division II level at Central Missouri. This kid, run blocker, he gets after it, drives defenders off the ball and space pulling on the second level. Pass blocker, Lou, the hand placement, footwork, and balance I like. Dominic Pooney, I wouldn't have had a problem if he went early third, late second.
Yep, I agree. Look, he started 13 games at left guard in 22, 12 games at left tackle in 23. I got to go out there to Kansas to watch them play this year against BYU, and he is nasty. He is a guy who can move people in the zone run scheme at the left tackle position. In pass pro, he has got consistent base and balance. He's got punch. He was dominant on combo blocks here. I tell you, I put here, he darn near just absolutely obliterated opposite side outside linebacker on tackle pull across the formation. He came across the formation against Iowa State with a full head of steam and absolutely just wiped them out. This guy plays with the kind of attitude that you would really associate with the San Francisco 49ers offensive line, and they've been wanting to upgrade that position anyway. This is the perfect pick. This is a great pick for them in the way that they like to block.
And with the 86th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the NFC champion San Francisco 49ers select Dominique Pooney, guard from Kansas. Happy birthday, Tommy Harris.
And thus the Kansas run begins. Pooney, very versatile. I'm a big fan of his game. Balance, awareness, poise. Another one, we've mentioned this a bunch. Jim Nagy does a good job that Senior Bowl. Gets all these guys down there. It's a competitive environment. He's one that helped him there, showing the versatility to play all these different spots. But he's got really, really strong hands. He plays well in space. He's efficient in all of his change of direction, movement, can get out there. Again, someone who's played left tackle. CD, I believe he's going to be one of those tackles that has a chance to be a starting guard in the NFL.
I think that's where he's headed. That certainly feels like it, and that's what we saw in the versatility of the Senior Bowl. We took a lot of reps. But he is part of what we're seeing, Joel, of guys coming up levels and playing well. Jared Verse, University of Albany, first-round pick, going to the Minnesota Vikings. This kid played at Central Missouri and then did his thing at Kansas. Lance Leipold has done a fantastic job with that program in the Jayhawks.
Just a few moments ago, 49ers made a selection in this third round, 25th of this round, and it was Dominique Pooney, who transferred and finished his career at Kansas.
Yeah, after 4 years at Central Missouri, Reese. Not exactly a huge pipeline, but a great moment here for Dominique Pooney, guy who played left tackle for the Jayhawks the past couple of seasons. Wouldn't surprise me if he has 4 position versatility at the NFL level.
But here is the Niners selection that was just announced.
Yeah, and CD, this is one of your guys here, Malik Mustafa. It was only one interception this year, but I thought one of the best tackling players in the secondary in this draft class.
Love this guy. When you turn on the tape, I put him in my pound the table deal. Peter, when you turn on the tape, he almost looks like he's playing a little bit more sped up than others. He just appears suddenly, and all of a sudden, boom, he's in the picture, and look at that. He makes the play. Love this kid.
Okay, so let's go back to the public address announcer for the Bucs pick.
With the 129th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers select Isaac Guerrero, running back, Louisville. Vamos Niners y viva México.
Vamos Niners!
Yeah, we've seen some running backs roll off the board, and this is one with outstanding size and speed. They ran a 4.33 40. That tells you about the burst that you're going to see when you watch him on film. A downhill, aggressive style runner. Runs with those high knees, like old school high knee runner. You don't see that very often. I think there was a ton of wiggle and make miss there, CD. But this is someone who can hit home runs and also, I thought, had good balance in pass pro as well.
Yeah, really good contact balance as he goes through traffic. Ben Fennell, one of our great teammates here, was working with me about Isaac Guerrero. And my first thought was, is he an Isaiah Pacheco light type of a guy? And Ben gave me a better comp, Justin Fargas. Remember him coming out of USC in Michigan? Home run hitting guy. Go ahead, DJ.
Yeah, that's your Next Gen Stats presented by AWS. See him right there at the very top of the athleticism score.
I just love seeing Sergio Dip back on our screen. Sergio Dip, shout out.
With the 135th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft,
the San Francisco 49ers select Jacob Cowing, wide receiver, Arizona. Yeah, baby! Baby, Notre Dame!
Jacob Cowing catching passes from Noah Fafita, not the biggest guy in the world, but he's a playmaker.
174 pounds, Reese, but this guy could fly. 4.38 40 at the combine. Spent 3 years at UTEP, and then spent the past 2 years at Arizona. I got to say, this guy has terrific body control, really good understanding of the scheme. Anybody who watched that Jetfish scheme, I know Lou called a couple of their games, it's outstanding out there in Arizona. Really good footwork as well, making guys miss at the top of his routes. Some toughness as well from Jacob Cowing, one of the reasons why he was so good after the catch. He had 244 catches over the past 3 seasons, so excellent production. He had 13 receiving touchdowns last season, and the second wide receiver now drafted by the San Francisco 49ers, along with Ricky Pearsall, 31 on night one.
Yeah, I mean, he comes from a fantastic program, like you said, under Jetfish. And when you run those option routes from the slot, you have 4.3 speed, and to kind of change the direction he has. He is a safety or nickels star defender's absolute nightmare, and he was very productive in the red zone. Nice pickup for San Fran.
Jetfish now up at Washington, and Cowing had a teammate at Arizona past season, Tedderilla McMillan. Oh, we're going to be talking about him in the draft next. Big receiver there. The 49ers have done some work getting Cowing with the most recent pick.
With the 135th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers select Jacob Cowing, wide receiver, Arizona. Yeah, baby! Baby, Notre Dame!
I thought they might take Xavier Worthy. There was a chance that could happen in the first round, because when you look at Tank Dell and how he did in this exact same offense in Houston, that maybe Kyle Shanahan would want a player like that. Well, this is a similar vibe here.
Bobby Sloak, offense coordinator at Houston, came from Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah, exactly. They run the same offense. So, to me, this is a guy who, at that size, at only 168 pounds, started 57 straight games, and he also caught a pass in each of those 57 straight games. 4.38 speed, big-time burner, big-time speed.
So it's only fitting that we wrap up this this 4th round with a guy named Cowing. You know what I'm saying?
Rich, you're good, man.
I'm just saying, because in this round.
Bring it on back.
Hey, stick with us, though. We're about to move on to the 5th round.
That's what we're doing.
For the 215th pick of the 2024 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers select Jared Kingston, tackle, USC.
You say tackle, I'm going to say guard at USC. At least that's where he's going to play. 37 career starts, as you see there. At Washington State, got it done. They brought him into the transfer portal, brought him back over. Plays with good punch-ready hands. He plays the game with, whoever's taught him has done a nice job from a pass set standpoint. He plays with good technique, uses good grip strength, moves his feet, kind of a narrow base power zone type of blocker. So there's some limitations there.
At 215, San Francisco 49ers take guard from Southern California, Jared Kingston.
Some things to like about Jared Kingston. Jared Kingston, 6'4 1/4", 306 pounds. He had 5'0", 240. You watch him play and you say, boy, can he make it in the NFL despite having shorter arms? We prefer, that's the issue with him, Field. Watch him athletically as a run blocker, showed the ability to get it done, pulling and getting to the second level. Solid technician in pass pro, good footwork, the athleticism showed up. The weight room strength was there, but the short arms, he was still overpowered at times. Can he overcome that? That's what pushes a guy like that, even though he was a good college player, into the late rounds when you project him into the NFL.
Yeah, 6-year college player, the first 5 of which were at Washington State. But he's got starts during his college career in the Pac-12, which we're going to miss. And left tackle, left guard, right tackle. Additional versatility, something that San Francisco certainly is coveting along that offensive line. They knew coming into this exercise they needed offensive linemen. Lack of power here, something to keep an eye on, though, for Jared Kingston.
With the 251st pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers select Tatum Bethune, linebacker, Florida State.
70 tackles for him, actually led this Seminole squad.
You know, his linebacker, my first line of my scouting report is his linebacker play won't make it on most teaching tape, but it doesn't take much time to figure out that he is a football player. And so that's ultimately what you want at this point. You may have some things that aren't neat and nice because we're in the 7th round, but he knows how to play ball.